You're brilliant, but Eli, he's just easier. Those words echoed in my mind as I sat across from my manager, Linda Sharp, in her glass-paneled office, 32 stories above downtown Chicago. She looked like she belonged on the cover of some magazine for high-powered executives. Immaculate suit, impossibly white teeth, and a tone dripping with condescension. I kept my expression neutral even as my nails dug into my palm beneath the desk. More of a team player, I repeated slowly, as if the phrase would make more sense the second time. Linda offered me a syrupy smile. Exactly. You know, people just enjoy being around Eli. Eli, who'd been at the company for 2 years. Eli, whose idea of leadership was reposting motivational quotes and hosting happy hours. Eli, who was just easier, not more capable, not more proven, just easier. I was 42. I joined Weston Dynamics at 36, leaving behind a stable career in education because I believed I could build something better. 6 years of strategy overhauls, client wins, and fixing accounts no one else could touch. I'd doubled our Midwest portfolio, created a new training pipeline, and saved the company nearly $3 million in operational inefficiencies. But Eli was the one getting the promotion. Linda pretended to shuffle some papers, probably expecting me to thank her for the feedback. Instead, I slid a crisp white envelope across her desk. She looked down, eyebrows twitching. "What's this?" "My resignation. Effective 2 weeks from today." Linda blinked. "Daniel, wait. Let's talk this through." "No need," I said calmly. "You were clear. And I'm focused on outcomes. That's why I'm leaving." What she didn't know, what no one had noticed, was that while Eli was posting latte art and motivational memes, I had quietly built a leadership development startup on the side. Fully registered. Profitable since last quarter. I hadn't lost today. I'd simply outgrown the room. As I stepped out of her office, the energy shifted. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. I walked through the open floor with quiet purpose, past Eli's desk, where he was already envisioning where to hang his new "Let's Hustle" poster. Back at my desk, I packed slowly. Not because I was sad, I was documenting. 3 years' worth of performance metrics, manuals, optimized workflows, every innovation and every dollar saved. Logged. Not to take. Just to make the record undeniable. On day 4, Eli strolled up with a smug grin and a paper cup in hand. "Dan, hey, I hope you're not too disappointed. I mean, I know you really wanted that promotion." I didn't flinch. "No hard feelings, Eli," I said coolly. "You'll shine." He walked away, satisfied, unaware that what he'd inherited had been built on foundations he didn't understand. 3 years earlier, in a fit of frustration, I had started building my own adaptive performance software. Off the clock. My own tools. My own time. Last week, the patent came through. That second page inside my resignation envelope, it outlined the business implications of the software. Millions in projected revenue, directly tied to my intellectual property. 1 week later, I sat across from Jared Lewis, CEO of Archon Tech Solutions, Weston's biggest competitor. A man known for spotting value, not politics. "I read your report," Jared said, sliding a folder across the cafe table. "It's brilliant, and it's proven." Inside was an offer, not a job, a partnership, equity, autonomy, a future. "We've been waiting for someone like you, Daniel. Someone who knows that outcomes, not optics, build legacies." I signed, not for the title, for the recognition. This was what it felt like to be respected for substance, not charisma. My final day at Weston, I returned my access badge and was promptly summoned back to Linda's office. Her calm facade had cracked. "Daniel, We need to talk about the report you attached to your resignation. I sat, adjusting the cuff of my blazer. I submitted 3 proposals over 2 years, I said evenly. You dismissed them all. She looked down at the data: predictive analytics, workflow automation, operational savings. And this is patented? I nodded. Filed last fall. Fully approved. Her lips parted. And Archontech? Already scaling it across their entire operation. Her voice dropped. Daniel, no. They're our primary competitor in the Midwest. What about loyalty? She asked. I tilted my head. You mean rewarding charm over contribution? Ignoring innovation because it doesn't come with a cocktail hour? She opened her mouth. I didn't wait. If Weston valued results, we wouldn't be here. Please, we'll match their offer. Senior Vice President. It was never about the title, I said, rising. It was about being valued. As I left, I heard the frantic dialing behind me. Too late. Archontech wasn't Weston. The first day I walked into my new office overlooking Lake Michigan, the difference was tangible. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a plaque on the door. Daniel Reed, partner, strategy, and systems innovation. But it wasn't the view that mattered. It was the all-hands meeting Jared called that afternoon. He told my story. Not the resume, the impact, the platform I built, the value it created. Daniel isn't here to fill a role, Jared told the team. He's here to lead a new frontier. I wasn't a ghost in the background anymore. I was the architect. Center stage. Chapter 6. Collapse. 3 months in, my phone buzzed mid-strategy workshop. Tariq, former Weston colleague, checked the news. The headline read, Weston Dynamics loses 30% of clients after Q2 system breakdown. I leaned back, scrolling. Missed deadlines, bloated budgets, 3 major clients gone. And then a quote from one of my former clients, it's like the backbone of their operation disappeared. I smiled. It had. They handed it to someone who thought synergy was a strategy. Rachel, or rather Eli, was now exposed. Charm had opened the door, but substance had always kept it open. I didn't need revenge. I had results. Chapter 7. Rise Recognized. 6 months in, Jared approached me in my office, holding a folded newspaper. Have you seen this? Chicago Business Ledger. Weston announces emergency restructure, amid system collapse. They tried rebuilding your platform in-house, he said. They didn't understand the foundation, I replied. It's not just code, it's logic, design, vision. He nodded. That's why the board voted to promote you. A pause. Starting next week, you're our EVP of Strategic Innovation. You haven't just improved our systems. You've changed our direction. Warmth settled into my chest. This was what real recognition felt like. Not applause, respect. That evening, as the city turned gold in the fading sun, an email landed in my inbox. From Linda Sharp. Subject, apology. I assume you've heard what's happening at Weston. I was wrong. Dismissing your work was the worst mistake of my career. She'd resigned. Eli had stepped down a month earlier. Turns out, charm couldn't deliver under pressure. I stared at the screen. I'd once craved this kind of validation. Now? It was a footnote. I replied simply, Thank you. You're right. Results matter. I wish you well. Then I looked around my office. Every inch of it had been earned. The next morning, I called a full team meeting. Before we dove into metrics, I told them a story. Not about code or clients, but value. Never let anyone define your worth, I said. Not by volume, not by smiles, by results. They listened. Not just to me, but to the truth beneath it. We weren't building just for profits. We were building to prove what quiet strength and deep work could do when no one was watching. The hum of the city pulsed through my windows that night, but my office was silent, a sanctuary of intention. I stared at the quote framed above my desk. "You're too focused on results." It used to sting. Now, it grounded me. I leaned back, fingers interlaced behind my head, watching the gentle reflection of Chicago's skyline shimmer on the glass. A mug of black coffee steamed quietly next to me. No fluff, just focus. My laptop displayed licensing interest from 3 global firms, one in Singapore, one in Frankfurt, and the third, a rising tech conglomerate based in Toronto. Each had attached 7-figure projections, real numbers, real stakes, real impact. What started as a quiet rebellion built in the background of boardrooms that never saw me had grown into a force bigger than I imagined. I wasn't just leading innovation now, I was shaping the industry's future, and they never saw it coming. Across town, Westlake's once glossy facade was cracking. Systems that used to run like clockwork had broken apart without my architecture. No one had understood the scaffolding beneath the workflows, the logic, the adaptability, the predictive structure. They saw a machine. I had built an organism. I didn't need to witness the collapse to feel it. I could see the ripple effect in hiring trends, partner statements, competitor panic. I was no longer chasing relevance, I was defining it. But success didn't mean stillness. This was just the ignition. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in a closed-door summit with Jared Lewis and Architects Board. The room was sharp, no fluff, no filler. Just serious minds ready to move serious numbers. On the screen behind me, I mapped out Phase 2 of my platform. Scalability, integration modules for non-tech clients, and real-time data visualization layers that could optimize entire divisions in a matter of weeks. Not months, not quarters. Weeks. I wasn't the loudest, I told the room. I didn't throw the best office parties. I wasn't the one who could small-talk my way into leadership's favor. But I delivered. And that used to be invisible, until I built something too valuable to ignore. Applause thundered, not because I was charismatic, but because I was honest. That night, I posted a message on LinkedIn, paired with a photo of my old resignation letter, now framed on my office wall. They said I was too focused on outcomes. Turns out, that's exactly what legacy is made of. By morning, the post had over 500,000 views. Messages poured in from around the world. Quiet workers, overlooked minds, builders, the ones too often told they didn't fit. The real win isn't revenge, it's creation. Power, I've learned, doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it comes with stillness, the calm certainty that you were right to bet on yourself. Today, I lead Architects' Global Innovation Division. My name is on patents, on systems that keep hospitals running smoothly, on infrastructure that helps nonprofits scale sustainably, on platforms used by companies in over 20 countries. Westlake? They're still searching for a new identity. I don't hate them. I thank them, because rejection didn't derail me. It refined me. Epilogue. The sign you were waiting for. If you're reading this and you feel stuck, if you've been overlooked, underestimated, told you're too much, or not quite right for leadership, let this be your sign. You don't have to prove them wrong. You just have to prove yourself right. And when you do, trust me, they'll hear your name again. Not because you shouted, but because you built something they can't stop talking about. Keep building. Your story's not over. It's just beginning. Chapter 15. Rewriting the Narrative. The first time I saw my name on the plaque outside my new office at Architect Solutions, I stood there a moment too long. Daniel Malik, Executive Vice President, Strategic Innovation. Not Director, not Manager, EVP. I could feel the difference in the air. It wasn't just the title, it was what it stood for. What I'd built from nothing but long nights, data models, and a quiet belief that results should speak louder than charisma. Jared had kept his word. This company valued substance. From day one, I wasn't asked to play politics, smile through mediocrity, or win favor with after-hours drinks. I was asked for impact, and impact was something I had in spades. I called my team into a glass-walled conference room on the 19th floor, the lake stretching out behind us like an endless mirror. This wasn't Westlake. These weren't people waiting to be told what to do. They were sharp, driven, and ready for something bigger. I want to share a quick story, I said, glancing around the room, about the difference between being seen and being respected. Heads turned. Silence settled. I worked at a firm where the loudest voice always won, where smiling was rewarded over solving, where I built systems that saved millions, but someone else's social charm got the credit. I let that hang for a beat. They called me too focused, too serious, not enough of a team player. What they didn't see was that while they were promoting charisma, I was quietly building something that would outlast them. As I stepped onto the stage, I caught a familiar face in the front row. Tariq Henderson, former colleague, one of the few who'd always known the value I brought. He gave me a knowing nod. I returned it, then looked to the moderator. "Daniel," she said, "you've had a meteoric rise in the tech innovation space. What's your philosophy on leadership?" I paused. "Outcomes over optics," I said simply. "We've created a culture where perception is often mistaken for performance. But real leadership, it's about building systems, not just stories. It's about delivering impact, not just influence." A murmur of agreement rippled through the audience. "And when we stop rewarding charm and start rewarding results," I continued, "we don't just change careers, we change companies." Afterward, executives lined up to speak with me, to ask about the platform, about licensing, about investment. But through the chatter, one conversation stood out. A man in a navy suit with tired eyes and a name badge that read Paul Chen, CIO, Westlake Strategies. "We're re-evaluating some things internally," he said awkwardly. "We saw what your system did here. We'd like to discuss bringing you in, as a consultant. Maybe even more." I looked at him levelly. "You don't need a consultant, Paul. You need a reckoning." I left him standing there, realization dawning in his expression. My time at Westlake wasn't a chapter I wanted to reopen. I was done proving anything to people who had once told me I wasn't enough. 3 months into my role, we hit a milestone. The platform, codenamed Lumen, had officially rolled out across 5 divisions. Results came in fast. Operational costs down 40%. Project timelines cut in half. Employee churn reduced by 27%. But the numbers weren't what mattered most. It was the call I got from a junior engineer named Samir. "I just wanted to say thanks," he said. "This system, it's made my job make sense again. I feel like I can breathe." That's when it hit me. Lumen wasn't just software. It was structure. It gave good people a chance to thrive in environments that often overlooked them. I pulled up the original wireframe I'd mocked up 3 years ago in my apartment on the north side. Back then, it was a secret. Now, it was changing lives. One night, I stayed late at the office. The city stretched out below like a circuit board lit in gold. I scrolled through a draft proposal to license Lumen to 3 more firms, including one headquartered in Europe. And just as I was about to shut down for the night, an email popped up. From rachel.walters@wlstrategies.com. Subject: just, wow, I almost deleted it. But I clicked. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I saw the Forbes feature. I read about Lumen, and I get it now. I thought I knew what leadership meant. I didn't. I didn't understand what you were building. I wish I had. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm sorry. I stared at the screen. The girl boss smugness was gone. What remained was someone finally seeing past her own spotlight. I closed the email without replying. Not out of malice, but because the apology wasn't the point anymore. The system had spoken for itself.